Hi, and welcome to our lesson on section 5.5. This is day 1, multiple angle and product to sum formulas. Wow, there's a lot of formulas here. So hopefully you've had a chance to go to the website and print out from the handout section this formula page. There's other formulas on there, but these are also there. And today we're going to talk about the double angle formula and the half angle formula. Let's go ahead and try an example. Double angle formula. Notice that I have the sine of 2x, and so for my substitution, I'm going to use this formula. The sine of 2u is equal to 2 sine u cosine u. And I'm going to rewrite this expression, substituting for sine of 2u. I'm going to plug this in. So let's go ahead and see, our original equation is 2 cosine x plus sine 2x, whoops, sorry, equals 0. Rewriting, I have 2 cosine x. Now substituting right here, for this expression, I'm going to plug this in. So plus 2 sine x cosine x equals 0. Now I've rewritten, and each x is, there's no double angle there. Hopefully you notice, and so go ahead and take a look at this for a minute and see if you see anything that you can do to help you solve this equation. I see a 2 cosine here and a 2 cosine here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to factor a 2 cosine x out of each term. When I divide this by 2 cosine x, I end up with 1, plus dividing this by 2 cosine x, I end up with sine x, and this is still equal to 0. So by our zero product property, if my answer is 0, one of these factors has to equal 0. So I will set up two equations now and solve for x. Find out what angle makes these true statements. When I divide both sides by 2, I just end up with cosine x equals 0. So I ask myself, what angle has a cosine of 0? And those angles are pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2. Over here, I have to subtract 1 from both sides, and I end up with the sine of x equals negative 1. I ask myself, what angle has a sine of negative 1? And that angle happens to be 3 pi over 2. Well, where did that 3 come from? Make sure you change that to a 2, okay? All right, so I have just two angles now. This would be my solutions if I was just looking in the domain from 0 to 2 pi. I would be done. If I want the general solutions, however, I have to take x equals pi over 2 plus 2n pi, and x equals 3 pi over 2 plus 2n pi. And this is my general solution. Oops. And n has to be an integer. Let's go ahead and look at one more example. Oops, I'm sorry, there's a writing to learn that I want you to think about first. Look at the formulas for the half angle formula. And typically speaking, the sine and cosine of an angle are either positive or negative in value. And so how will you know, using the formula, whether your answer should be positive or negative? Think about it for a minute and just jot down something in your notes that shows us that you thought about it and came up with something. And so now let's go ahead and look at an example using the half angle formula. My example is find the exact value of the sine of 105 without a calculator. What you have to notice is, let's look at how this formula is used. You have the sine of u divided by 2, and then over here you have the cosine of u. And what you have to figure out is, well, what is my u going to be? Well, u over 2, you want that. You're trying to find the sine of 105, so u over 2 has to equal 105. And so by multiplying both sides by 2, I get that u has to equal 210. Rewriting my expression then, sine of, oh, I have u is 210 divided by 2. And so I can think about that. That's what I need. You guys see that? I need the sine of 104, or 105, sorry, which is exactly what I have here. And so let's think about this for a moment. On my unit circle, what I am ultimately trying to find is 105, which is somewhere right around in there. So that means that my sine is going to be positive, even though the sine of 210 would be down here somewhere and would be negative. But my answer is I want the positive root. So we don't have to write the plus sign out, so I'm just going to leave it like that. 1 minus the cosine. Well, what's my u? My u is 210 divided by 2. So the sine of 105, which is what I'm looking for, is equal to the square root of 1 minus cosine of 210. Notice how that is on your unit circle, and it is negative square root of 3 over 2, and divide that by 2. Rewriting what I have in here, I have to simplify that a little bit. I can't leave it like that. That'll lose your points if you leave it like that. I have fractions that I want to add, so I'm going to write 1 as 2 over 2. My double negative becomes a positive, plus the square root of 3 over 2. And that whole thing is divided by 2. Let's simplify that one more time here. So I have a big radical. That is 2 plus the square root of 3 over 2 divided by 2. Still got one thing that I need to simplify. I have to get rid of this denominator. And to do that, I am going to multiply my top and bottom by 1/2. Notice that I'm multiplying my fraction by 1/2 over 1/2, which is 1. So I can do that. And also notice what's going to happen. My bottom is going to go away. And on the top, I'm going to end up with 2 plus the square root of 3. And that whole thing is over 4. And I can actually simplify that one more time by writing it as 2 plus the square root of 3 over 2. That concludes the examples that I want to do today. Come to class with any questions that you might have, and we'll talk about this a little bit more. Thanks.